my stories. Thank you very much for pulling off that. My story is about the magic of theater. This story was first told as part of the Story Club in Minneapolis, which is produced by Amy Salloway. As a professional stagehand, I have witnessed the magic of theater, the mystical, and sometimes the mundane throughout my career. One of my most memorable shows that I ever worked on was the summer I was a spotlight operator for Phantom of the Opera. I must have seen the show 50 times if I saw it once. I was reading the novel by day and running my spotlight and performing the musical by night. Sometimes on the weekends I'd see 4 performances plus read the novel. The novel is very creepy and deep, while the musical is supposed to be lighthearted and a love story. Spoiler alert, it's not. I found that the 2 leading men were the flip sides of the same coin. The Phantom literally stalked Christine throughout the opera house. He had hidden lairs and he'd mysteriously appear from here, from there, from everywhere, and magically just show up uninvited into her dressing room. The Phantom also had hidden passageways, which included torture chambers, underground lakes, skeletal remains of presumably previous victims, and the Phantom, he wanted to possess, as in own, Christine. I found this a little undaunting. On the other side of the coin was Raoul. Raoul was Christine's former childhood friend. He was very tall, very statuesque, and he carried himself with great dignity. Imagine President Lincoln with his hat. That's the image I got when Raoul took the stage. Raoul, he wanted Christine as his wife. He wanted a decorative ornamental piece on by his side on his arm. Neither Raoul nor the Phantom seemed to care at all about Christine and what she might want. In her time and in her day, would it be so outrageous and unreasonable that a woman might want a career as a very acclaimed opera singer in her own right without being defined by a man? Then came the magical night. The understudy took the stage. I'm up in the air with my spotlight, and I look down at this young man who just races on stage with such enthusiasm. He was like a young football player, a freshman in high school who hadn't gone through the great growth spurt or the voice change, and he's like the JV football player who at the last 5 minutes of the varsity team gets to take the field. When the understudy, Raoul, took the stage, everything changed. Oh my God, I love this guy, I said on headset. It's the same blocking, it's the same words, everything's the same. But he's short, he's stocky, and his persona changes everything. Well, I am a self-respecting lesbian woman and one of the few in IATSE Local 13 Stagehands Union. So everyone laughed when the roadie would say, Marie, the understudy you're in love with is performing tonight. And I would say all over again on headset, oh, it's not him. It's his interpretation of the character, which is so wonderful. Don't you see it? When he's on stage, everything changes. Well, Minnesota was rehearsing multiple understudies that summer for multiple roles so that 2 tours would go across the country, just by coincidence. The tour left Minnesota. It skipped-scotched across the country, and then the tour that I had worked on landed in Boston. My sister Michelle is a stagehand with IATSE Local 11, and she had watched The Phantom not 50 times, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, to the point that it became very mundane, and to her it was simply a paycheck, a very nice paycheck. But then the understudy took the stage, and my sister Michelle yelled with great enthusiasm, "Oh my God, I love this guy!" And Linda, who was calling the spot cue, says, "Oh, Marie in Minneapolis was so in love with him." Michelle knew better, and she said to the roadie, "She wasn't in love with him, his character. Don't you see it? His portrait, his interpretation and portrait of the character changes everything. I've seen this show hundreds of times. But this guy, he